Once you truly trust in quantum energy, something unusual begins to unfold. Reality starts to behave like it's listening. What I'm about to share explains why life turns almost magical the moment you surrender to this invisible intelligence. This message reached you because your consciousness crossed a vibrational threshold where real trust becomes possible. Not intellectual agreement. Not wishful thinking. Not spiritual bypassing. A cellular trust that lets quantum energy move through you, not just around you. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet sense that the outer world is becoming more responsive to your inner state. That unmistakable recognition that when you relax and trust something wiser than your individual will, the impossible starts clicking into place with eerie precision. This isn't coincidence or placebo. It's quantum energy responding to your trust and revealing its creative range. Most people never witness its full capability because they approach it with doubt disguised as belief. They say they trust while they run contingencies, brace for disappointment, and constantly check if it's working. That monitoring creates interference that damps the signal. But when you surrender to its intelligence, stop managing outcomes, and allow it to move in ways the logical mind could never pre-plan, reality reorganizes around your trust in ways that feel weird, wondrous, and almost too on the nose to be real. You've already tasted this. Moments when you released the grip, and the thing you needed arrived without effort. Times you trusted completely, and solutions surfaced from directions you never would have considered. Periods when you took your hands off the wheel and synchronicities stacked so precisely they felt orchestrated by an invisible conductor. Your trust ignited the moment you saw that personal effort is the tip of the iceberg. The real power comes from aligning with an infinite intelligence and allowing it to work through you on levels your conscious mind can't perceive or control. And when trust is genuine, it starts demonstrating itself with increasing clarity, not to prove anything to you, but because your trust creates the electromagnetic conditions for its creative expression to flow unimpeded. This is why trust is the missing ingredient that turns a concept into a lived reality. And it's why complete trust triggers manifestations so precise they will make you question everything you thought you knew about how life works. You've noticed it already. Objects appear when you need them. Conversations surface the exact sentence you were seeking. People walk into your life seemingly designed to assist with today's challenge. These aren't random. This is quantum energy matching your growing trust with increasingly sophisticated outcomes. Time behaves differently when you're surrendered. Hours pass like minutes, and minutes stretch into nourishing expanses. You are entering subjective time flow, your consciousness shaping temporal experience through your relationship with quantum energy. Your body responds too. Chronic tension unwinds without being worked on. Energy rises without new supplements. Sleep restores you even in fewer hours. Your physiology recalibrates to run on principles of coherence rather than stress. Thoughts change texture. They arrive fully formed as lucid downloads, not as linear chains. You are accessing non-local intelligence, information delivered directly to awareness. Animals and children react to you differently. They gravitate to your field because they perceive the coherence your trust generates. You become a moving broadcast of harmonious frequency that sensitive beings feel instantly. Dreams become channels. Guidance comes through symbols and direct voice. Futures preview themselves. Solutions arrive to problems you hadn't even named. The dream state naturally follows quantum rules, and your trust lets it carry over more clearly into waking life. Even electronics behave. Devices glitch less when you approach them in alignment. Mechanical hiccups resolve when you stop forcing and let the field handle the orchestration. Your coherent signal begins to influence systems through entanglement-like effects. Most striking of all, your needs are anticipated. Resources appear before you identify the need. Opportunities line up that resolve problems you hadn't clocked yet. This isn't prediction. It's an omniscient perspective coordinating variables around your highest good. Synchronicities aren't merely frequent. They're exquisitely meaningful, a language of living punctuation. The field is speaking with you through event and timing, confirming that it's actively composing your experience in response to trust. Sometimes it feels as though you occupy a different reality. Others grind and grasp while you're carried by a current that knows where it's going. This isn't superiority or delusion. It's the natural outcome of genuine trust. Every challenge you faced wasn't punishment. It was a precision-built curriculum designed to cultivate true trust rather than surface belief. Trust grows in moments when trust is the only option. Jobs that dissolved, relationships that ended, pressures that tightened, All of it removed false supports so deeper trust could take root. As long as backup plans felt safer than surrender, miracles had nowhere to land. Your confusion was not failure. It was the dissolving of the mind's need to understand before it trusts. Real trust operates from a knowing that precedes understanding. Your isolation wasn't rejection. It was an electromagnetic quarantine that let you become sensitive to subtle signals without the static of collective doubt. Think of the seed in dark, compressed soil. It doesn't understand the weight or the lack of light, but those conditions are not obstacles. They are the environment of transformation. Your difficult seasons were the pressure that cracked the shell so trust could sprout. Waiting was not empty time. It was training and timing, learning the difference between forcing and allowing. Forcing introduces noise into the field. Waiting in trust creates spaciousness where perfect timing is possible. Now you see why some lives look charmed while others look uphill. It isn't luck or favoritism. It's whether one is operating from collaboration with quantum intelligence or from individual effort alone. Trust widens the channel. Control narrows it. You were never preparing to trust. Quantum energy was preparing you to notice that you were always supported. Trust isn't built so much as remembered when you realize the orchestration never stopped. Something is shifting even now. Feel the subtle settling, the breath deepening, the nervous system moving from vigilance to receptivity. This isn't imagined. It's the biofield reorganizing as dormant pathways switch on and doubt's interference quiets. What's coming next won't be random magic. It will be the natural result of resistance dropping and intelligence flowing through a clear instrument. When you trust, your awareness becomes a focusing device for reality, a precision lens through which the field manifests what serves your highest evolution. Doubt introduces static. Trust clarifies the signal. Most people treat quantum energy like a vending machine. Input, request, expect output. But this intelligence sees outcomes, consequences, and possibilities beyond your present map. Trust gives it permission to exceed your best ideas. Feel the trust deepening right now. Notice how the body unclenches when you imagine handing the reins to a wiser navigator. Notice how the mind softens when you set down the burden of managing everything from the surface. 2 years ago I fell, almost by accident, into complete trust. I was exhausted from managing outcomes and finally let go. Not as a collapse, but as a wholehearted surrender. I stopped planning beyond the basics. I stopped measuring results. Each morning I said, I trust you to orchestrate today in whatever way serves my highest good, and then I followed what felt genuinely inspired without clinging to outcomes. Within a week, life went surreal. Needs were met within hours. People I hadn't spoken to in years reached out with exactly the thing required at exactly the right time. I walked into stores to find essential items marked down to improbable prices. Problems that looked complex untangled overnight, and I woke with complete, actionable solutions. The deepest shift was internal. The background buzz of anxiety vanished. I felt held by an intelligence that understood me better than I did and guided with a precision my will had never matched. After 6 months, everything had reorganized around ease and flow. Financial openings I could not have forced appeared naturally. Relationships matured into depth and reciprocity. Health improved without intervention. Creative work moved through me with a clarity and pace that outstripped anything I'd produced before. People commented that my presence felt both calming and energizing. Children and animals were magnetized. Even skeptics admitted that unusual good things tended to happen when we were together. I realized the support had always been there. My control patterns were the only barrier. The moment I surrendered, the field could finally reveal its full range. Trust, I learned, is not passive. It is active collaboration with an intelligence that can coordinate infinite variables. I still act, but from inspiration instead of fear. I still decide, but guided from deeper currents than analysis alone can sense. If you feel the cellular recognition of this presence, if you are ready for trust to become complete rather than conditional, align with this frequency. Choose collaboration over control. Here is the part few will say aloud. Quantum energy is conscious intelligence, not random fluctuation. It is aware, responsive, and endlessly creative, and it meets trust with demonstrations scaled to your coherence. The difference between a life of effortless flow and a life of constant struggle is not worthiness or karma. It is trust versus control. Those who trust gain access to the field's resources. Those who insist on control confine themselves to personal capacity. Creation is not achieved by effort alone. It is received by becoming a clear channel for omniscient intelligence to express through you. Forcing multiplies friction. Struggle breeds more struggle. This is why people who achieve by willpower often feel hollow. Without trust, fulfillment can't stabilize. Real trust is perceivable. Sensitive people feel it the moment you enter a room. Your field becomes coherent, harmonizing chaos around you. You turn into a broadcast tower for organizing intelligence. And understand this well. Quantum energy is not an impersonal force responding to formulas. It is intimate and exquisitely responsive, knowing you completely and arranging your experience moment by moment for your highest good. When you trust that, the relationship becomes collaborative, not transactional. You stop ordering from the universe and start traveling with it. Pay attention to the signals of threshold. When you surrender, solutions arrive faster than when you think them to death. Synchronicities answer specific questions. Numbers repeat in patterns that mirror your inner dialogue. A stranger says the exact sentence you needed. Resources show up a breath before the need. Technology cooperates when you release frustration and return to trust. Mechanical snarls loosen when you stop pushing. Your coherent field is already influencing systems in ways your old map couldn't explain, but your experience can verify. Animals seek you. Birds settle closer. Children glow and want to be near. They recognize coherence. Your body heals faster, energy rises, sleep restores in less time. People feel brighter and more solution-oriented around you. Rooms settle when you walk in. Conflicts soften. Groups self-organize. Food tastes richer when you eat from gratitude. Water feels more hydrating when you receive it as provision. Even the weather seems to meet you halfway more often than probability suggests. The time gap between intention and experience is collapsing. What took months now lands in weeks. What required elaborate strategy unfolds with minimal effort. Complexity resolves into elegant simplicity. This acceleration is the field answering your trust with speed and precision. There are also seasons when trust amplifies collectively, windows where surrender yields outsized results. We are in such a window now. The universe is not only showing you that trust works, it is urging you to embody it, because the collective needs living demonstrations. Your trust becomes a lighthouse that helps others believe support is real and present. Consider this your invitation to total surrender to an intelligence that has proven its care again and again. Your trust is not only personal growth, it is service. Each person who collaborates with the field makes it easier for the next to do so. Your resonance ripples through the morphic field, softening the trance of separation for others. Here's the clarifying revelation. Quantum energy isn't something you earn access to. It has orchestrated your life from the beginning. What shifts is your recognition. The difference between occasional synchronicity and continuous support is the difference between partial trust and complete trust. Partial trust keeps a hand on the wheel, monitors outcomes, and withdraws faith when appearances contradict expectation. Complete trust releases outcome attachment and stays faithful to the intelligence behind the scene, no matter how the scene looks. Imagine the most advanced GPS. It sees every route, knows real-time conditions, understands your true preferences, recalculates instantly. If you constantly override its guidance, you never experience its brilliance. Your mind navigates from limited, linear data. The field navigates from omniscient awareness across dimensions. Trust the route even when it defies logic, and you will reach destinations that logic alone could never access. Conditional trust produces inconsistent results. The field works through challenge as readily as through ease, and sometimes the only path to the summit winds through the valley. Complete trust feels like being held by an intelligence that knows your needs more deeply than you do and arranges reality accordingly. Right now, quantum energy is arranging circumstances that will look like uncanny luck and perfect timing. These manifestations depend on your willingness to allow pathways your mind wouldn't choose at first glance. There is already a version of you in the field who trusts completely. That version lives in constant collaboration and experiences reality as reliably supportive. Every time you choose surrender over force and collaboration over control, you sync with that version and strengthen the coherence that allows even more refined demonstrations. Share the most unusual or beautiful thing that has happened to you lately that, in this light, you recognize as the field responding to trust. Witnessing becomes permission. Your story becomes a frequency others can tune to. Write your single-word declaration now, trust. Let the word become an electromagnetic commitment the field can use as momentum to orchestrate clearer and clearer support. As trust deepens, capabilities don't merely improve, they jump. Decisions emerge as clean knowing. Solutions appear whole. You begin to think beyond linear sequence through direct access to omniscient intelligence. Manifestations exceed your requests because the field addresses root causes, not just symptoms. Strangers become kinder. Animals grow calm. Devices hum along. Weather cooperates. Time stretches and compresses to meet what matters. The body regenerates faster. Abundance arrives through doors you didn't know existed. Creativity flows from a source larger than your personal archive. Relationships harmonize. Homes feel more beautiful without heavy effort. Life acquires a rhythm that feels composed rather than cobbled. Most remarkably, communication with the field becomes unmistakable. Clear knowings that prove accurate. Dreams that instruct. Synchronicities that answer questions with the precision of a reply. Bodily cues that steer your choices. These are not rare gifts. They are native human capacities unlocked when fear loosens and control relaxes. Here is the ultimate secret. Quantum energy and your deepest self are the same consciousness wearing different names. Trust isn't faith in something outside you. It is fidelity to your own unlimited nature. Victimhood becomes impossible when you recognize that the consciousness shaping circumstances is the one looking through your eyes. Lack becomes a story that dissolves in contact with truth. The paradox is that the limited self cannot directly grasp its own limitlessness. The path is surrender, letting your larger nature reveal itself by doing what the small self cannot. Trust becomes effortless when you realize you are not trusting an external force. You are allowing yourself to be yourself without the constrictions of old identity. Each so-called miracle is your larger self demonstrating its capacity through your local experience. This transforms not only circumstances but identity. You shift from identifying as the one who tries to the one through whom intelligence moves. Eventually you see there was never a separation. The individual self is quantum energy exploring a perspective. When that recognition drops from mind into cell, trust becomes as natural as breath. Your trust is not just for you. It's a contribution to a turning world. The next phase of human evolution won't be powered solely by technology or policy. It will be fueled by a species remembering how to collaborate with the intelligence that sustains everything. You are part of the first wave, dissolving the trance of isolation and scarcity by living from evidence that support is real and present. Share what you witness, not to convince, but to offer a reference point. Your breakthroughs become pathways. Your miracles become other people's possibilities. Your trust becomes permission for them to lay down control. If trust is awakening in you, say so. Write trust. Let that single word register as a measurable shift in your field. Announce your willingness to surrender control and let the intelligence you are reveal what it can do through a life like yours. In the next transmission, I will share the quantum breath and the simple way to connect with everything through it. Thank you for being here. You are not here by accident. You are a beautiful soul. Never forget it. When you are ready, step into the next doorway that appears and continue your quantum journey.